about the why. Why are we going down into Kensington, and why are we going to go down with using, men and women from the police department? And so what I wanted to share with you before I started was just to level set the why. One of the things we oftentimes forget to talk about in our work is just the level of violence that we see in our Kensington corridor, particularly our opioid corridor that we're going to go into. If you see on the screen around here, the red represents the highest level of shootings we have in the city of Philadelphia. You will see down in that Kensington pocket, bordered by the pink border, the consistent high level of violence that we see. When you see our hexagon that represents a 2.2 block area where we have 25 shootings in there, that is the highest number of shootings than anywhere else in the city of Philadelphia, right? And so we are, part of our work, part of our responsibility, part of our duties as a law enforcement agency is to address the level of violence that we see in here, not just this year, but going back to 2021. And if I continue to go down the slides, it continues to go back in those years of level of violence. So that is important. But one of the things I also want to share with you is just our schools. As many of you know, I came from the Office of School Safety. For a long time, I've been struggling with the 14 schools that are down in that area and what they've had to deal with and what they've had to endure. When we specifically look at Conwell, many of you know I was sworn in at Conwell. That was with purpose, because it was a school that I saw the level of violence was unacceptable. To sit at a school across the street at Willard, where someone shoots through the windows of the school, and then at that time, as chief of school safety, having to put bulletproof blankets on the windows so our children could be safe, is unacceptable. And so you look at Conwell, but one of the things we also recognize with Conwell, most recently, there was a report by the Trace, and they were reporting that Conwell Middle School and Willard, which are across the street from each other, are number 1 and number 3 in the nation with having the highest level of shootings around their schools within 500 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's absolutely unacceptable, and it's something that we have to address with our law enforcement efforts. Let's go to the next slide. And so I also want to share with you, there has been some questions about the deployment, and Timmy talked about our deployment of our footbeats. For those of you who have been around for a while, during my time under Commissioner Ramsey, the footbeat strategy was an effective strategy for us as a law enforcement agency. Let me back up. You skipped me the slides. Who's hitting my slides for me? Come on, come back. The narcotics is after this one? Next one? All right, we jumped ahead. I'll come back. Let's stay at the narcotics. One of the things we also recognize that the level of narcotics and the persistent level of narcotics in the city of Philadelphia, but in particularly in our opioid corridor. You can just see from this map where we have it highlighted, particularly right here where we're going, it is one of the highest level of narcotics sales and drug sales in the city of Philadelphia. That too has been like that for some time. And there's been a situation where that community has been persistently plagued, even during my time where I spent a lot of time in narcotics down in that pocket. So again, part of our strategy is, 1, to address the violence that is occurring in that community, 2, to address the level of drugs that's occurring in that community as well. Now we'll go to the next slide. And just wanted to respond to the questions around the footbeats. During my tenure under Commissioner Ramsey and Commissioner Ross, we worked with Temple to create a footbeat model. That footbeat model, at one point during my tenure, we had almost 250 men and women from the academy on the ground. We studied that model. We found that model was an effective strategy for us to move effectively in our communities, working in those communities with these officers on the grounds, and we can see by the work that they did a significant reduction in the activity. And so that successful implementation of that footbeat has informed our footbeat strategy over the last decade. We continue to do that strategy since 2009 in a highly effective way and continue to see that as a way of us dealing with the violence that we see. All right, so again, part of what I want to share with you, we'll share that with the crew, is just to give you the understanding. The next phase of our work is really getting down there to address the drugs activities occurring there and the violence is occurring in that community. So here's the plan. I mean, as you indicated in our 5-phase approach, part of what I want you to understand, that approach is all-encompassing. One of the things we have looked at when we look at our plan and we look at the work that's been done, the Kensington planning process went through a very comprehensive process of getting down into the community and asking what they want. Commissioner Pedro Rosario is here with me today, has been on the ground since his appointment, and Adam Gear as well, to be able to find out those things. One of the core things that they talk about is safety. During the inauguration, the mayor set forth her charge from the very beginning, from the time I met her, we are going to address Kensington. And during that, at the beginning of her term, when she started out, when she was sworn in, the first thing she put on paper was a resolution and an order, the executive order for us to address Kensington. That is my charge. That is our responsibility here at the Philadelphia Police Department to answer that charge, and we're now moving into that space. We will now start to move into our phase one approach of our methods. We will start to announce into the community, but I want to say this to you as well. We have been doing that since the middle of March, early March, technically in our phase one approach. Since we've removed the encampment, Commissioner Rosario and the team has been working with the Office of Homeless Services, our mental health partners, and our community partners to be able to provide opportunities for individuals to go into service. Those efforts have continued and have been very successful. We are now going to move into naming that process so that everyone knows what the next phase of this operation will be. And so there will be leaflets going out and packets going out to the community, giving them the information as to what's about to embark on, and some opportunities for them to go into other services. There's QR codes, and GRIP will be able to share that information with you. Our next phase of this operation, we will be deploying, starting next week, our academy class that graduates on Monday will be deployed in the area. We will be moving 75 men and women from the Philadelphia Police Academy who will graduate next week, will move into the Kensington pocket, where we will start to address those drug corners and that drug activity that is causing much of the violence that we see here and the activity that we see down there. It will be very scripted, very strategic, and I want to commend the men and women, my executive team is here with me today, for their work and their efforts to make that a possibility. We are going to go down there and start to address what has been manifesting from the issues down there, the level of open air drugs, the violence that occurs there, and all the things that have kept that community pretty much imprisoned for a long time. We are going to give hope back to a community that has lost hope. And we're going to start to help and be able to let them activate and be really, really much a part of our work moving forward. I want to caution you here. We still have a lot of work to do. I do not come here with any belief, or my team does not believe, that overnight we're going to take care of an issue that has been there for decades. We do not go into this process. But what we will do is work to restore order. And listen, we have been down there. I've watched what has happened to our children down there. Our kids cannot play in that area down there. Our kids cannot walk to school down there. Commissioner Rosario met with our principals, and they shared with them the challenges and the trauma that our families, our children, our parents are dealing with down there because we've allowed this issue to go unabated. We are going to go down there. We are going to be working effectively, but we're always going to be in our phases. We're always going to be in our phase one approach of giving individuals down there who want an opportunity to go into services. We will allow that. We will always allow that. But we will no longer allow the level of violence and the trauma that has been inflicted on those families down there. That is the start of a long process. As Commissioner Stanford would tell me, we plan on to being down there as through the development of our phases. We will go through and sustain that area and hold that area as long as we have to so we can give hope back to that community. We can let those community members start to reactivate and trust in the process. And then we will be working with Director Gear and our city services as we build out the community plan. At the end of the day, we are going to be able to, we're going to clear the road, we're going to work to clear the road, but it will be the community. The community be the ones that'll step up and take this from us. We will be working with the community to be able to build the strategies and moving forward and how they want this community to formulate. This is not going to be a policing strategy, a sole policing strategy. But you cannot get to the work until we clear it and make it safe for people to get down on the ground and do the work. And that is our job. Our job is to make it safe so the community can come down and feel a part of the work and be participant in that work. And so that's our plan moving forward. We are excited as an organization. We are excited about taking the mayor's charge and starting to move that forward. And we believe we have a highly effective strategy to do that. and we will accomplish our goal. So I'll stop there and see if you have any questions. You will, okay.
Just for starters, one of the first questions we'll get from viewers is how long will they be there? And I realize that this is a long plan that you have, but I guess the question would be, are there benchmarks to how long they'll keep officers if you'll add more?
So I think that's an excellent question. I think what I've told folks, and I tell people, it's not like we have a comparison anywhere in America to give us a playbook of how to do this. We know in San Francisco they've been able to work effectively to address their open air market. We know that Boston had a small area there. There is no playbook. And so we humble ourselves knowing that we're going to this operation being very fluid and very nimble. We will flex as we need it. If I need to add additional personnel in there, we will. As we go through this process, working with the community, the ultimate goal is to hand this off to the community, but we will never abandon them until we get to that place. And so to put a time limit on it, it'd be hard to say, but we are in for the long haul, and we will be there until we feel it's safe and the community norms have been restored.
And just as a follow-up, when Daniel Outlaw was commissioner, she did throw 100 officers into Kensington. A lot of them were officers that had a lot of years on the force, didn't necessarily want to do that, go back on the beat. I'm wondering if that same amount is still there, if those people were ever moved out of there.
Yeah, so we have a significant workforce down there now, tolling. This will be an addition to that. I can't speak for my predecessor. I'm born here, raised here, know the city, know the area, and the men and women that I have in position now very much knows this space. It was for that reason I appointed Commissioner Rosario, because of his sheer knowledge of how that area works and his commitment to the community down there and the respect and trust they have for him. Coupled with that, I have Commissioner Cram, who oversees operations now, patrol operations. He too, as well, has worked down there, as well as a number of the men and women who work for me in that space. So I think we have a very strategic and structured plan. I know that the part that we have now is the mayor is fully embraced our plan moving forward. I have the pleasure of having Adam Gear, who's here with us as well, who will be leading the other services as we move forward. I believe the way we have it structured, the way we've established our plan, it's an effective one. And I would expect and will expect that our plan is highly effective, and we will do whatever we need to meet our charge. Well, listen, I think that we have been able to see through, as I shared in the slide with you, that our footbeats are being highly trained. We've added some additional training. We work with our academy class to work with those officers to give them some additional training. They will have body cameras on at all times. They will have phones, using our phone technology to support them. They'll be working with senior officers, so they will not be out by themselves in the initial part of this. They'll be working with senior officers. But let me say this, policing is a very challenging work. In the time in 2009, 10, 11, we were putting footbeats out. There's other challenging areas of the city, and I had 250 officers out there on foot, and they did an absolutely phenomenal job. Oftentimes, your new officers come with a much open mind around the work they're going to embark on. And so we feel, and I'm very confident with the leadership that I have here and the leadership that will be able to attend it, they'll be able to take those officers, deploy them down effectively into that area, and address the concerns that they have. And we will have their back 200%, as they move into this area of operation. So clearly we will always have concerns when we're putting new officers, no matter where they go across the city, because we are putting them back on footbeats in different parts of the city, and they are all working in crime areas across the city. I believe as a larger, more mechanized force, those numbers work to our advantage, and we're going to use that as we move into this space.
Somebody explain that plan in Spanish, please.
Hold on. We'll do that at the end. Can we hold that? Okay.
Before that, can you just confirm for one, so it was reported that 120 police officers will be in Kensington by mid-June. Is that accurate? About 120?
Yes.
Okay. Secondly, in this plan, it said that, arrest for drug use, drug sales, and prostitution will be a part of this. For drug users who are arrested, do the jails have enough room, and also will it be, some sort of help, rehab?
So we will continue to work with our police-aided diversion model that we have now to provide opportunities for individuals to go into treatment. That will always be a part of the work that we will do. But we are going to making arrests. I keep, there is nowhere in America this should be happening. And if I was anywhere else in the city of Philadelphia, no one would ask me a question as to what I'm doing with people who are out there committing crimes, selling drugs, shooting and killing people. And so I will make no excuses for the fact that we will go down there in a much more forward posture, that we will be making arrests. But we also understand we're not trying to overrun the system, right? We're not going down there to lock up 590 plus people with the purpose that that's going to eradicate our problem. We understand this is going to be a very incremental, steady process. There are people down there that are doing nothing illegal. Being unsheltered is not illegal. Let me name that. Right? So it's not as if we're going to go down there and just start to look for. We will move into our phases. We'll bring the men and women down on station. They will start to get acclimated to the area. We're going to do some of that before they even are deployed, and then we work. But we are no longer going to allow individuals to take needles and shoot them up in front of children and families. We are no longer going to allow individuals to walk through the neighborhood and steal and take things that are not theirs. We're no longer allow people to just openly selling drugs, and to the best of the ability, we're going to try to address all of those. I'll let you manage the room.
Do we have any plan to enforce the court fee?
So we have started that process already for some stores have to close at 11 o'clock. That process is already underway, correct?
So we're educating to your question, we're educating the businesses right now, and we'll be doing active enforcement by next week.
But equipment for teenagers as well?
I mean, we'll always be doing that. I mean, that's been always part of our work, particularly as we go into the summer months.
This might be more of a question for the city.
You're dominating all the calls.
No,
No, I'm just picking up. Go ahead.
If you'll answer, then I'll keep talking. I'm wondering if the city has tracked, I think it was 59 people when the day of the encampment, if you've actually tracked them, and how many of those people are still in either the rehabs or the shelters?
We wouldn't be able to, we wouldn't even be privy to that information, even if it was coming in. So I don't know how we would be able to answer someone who signed themselves into treatment. Yeah, we would not be able to share that anyway.
Okay, and I think just as a follow-up, I think one of the criticisms the last time was more of where these people were going. It was never really answered. We couldn't get an answer about if they were all going to facilities within the city. Obviously, the facilities have a spectrum of needs, from just housing to some rehab, and then some more critical. So just trying to get an idea, if there's going to be this many officers there, and there's going to be a lot more people, is it going to be the same situation? Are you going to tell us, are they staying in Philadelphia centers? Are they going elsewhere? Because one of the criticisms from some of the helpful organizations was that they couldn't track the people that they had been helping. So they didn't know where those people went.
Yeah, I can't answer that for you at this moment. I mean, part of what we're looking to address is those victims and those communities that have been suffering for a long time, and tracking how we have been able to address some of the level of violence and some of the issues that they've been concerned of. But I don't have an answer for you at this point. Some of the things we won't know until we get in, right? Some of the things that we will not know until we get on the ground and start to operate and move through our process as to what some of those activities will be. Clearly, our actions are going to activate a lot of other things. We're going to find things that we have, but at the same token, we have to ask this question: how long will we allow individuals to sell a poison of fentanyl and xylazine, and now because that has been a controlled substance, they're now looking for a new tranquilizer? How long will we allow that to occur, and the issues that are manifesting from that? And so again, as we go through, we'll be pulling a lot of data to the best of our ability, looking at the overdose data, looking at the arrest, looking at the individuals who are going to go into treatment. That'll be part of all of the work that we will do to capture, to determine whether we're being effective or not. But I don't want to use that as one of the key, I mean, that's part of the work. And I don't think I answered your question, but I think we don't have an answer for you just yet.
Okay, I think the city might follow up.
Okay,
the director.
Go to Mr. Dean over there.
You're stressing that you're going to start taking arrests. Was that policy of the department prior to now, not arresting?
I think there's been countless arrests that have been made down there. I won't get into what previous policies. I can only talk about what we're doing moving forward. Right? We're in this moment now of what we're going to do under this mayor, Mayor Parker, and the direction she's given us as a city and the city departments to work in Kensington. What was the prior edict at that time? I mean, clearly we've been very public about the harm reduction model that has been going on down in Kensington and what that meant. But as we move forward in our work, we will be using every tool at our disposal to address the issues that are occurring down there. And arrests are a part of that. However, at the same time, we respect the work that the harm reduction team has done. We respect the work that the men and women have done to deal with the addiction down there. And we're not moving away from that model. That is one of the core models of our work. We'll constantly have that in the back of our mind. If someone wants to go to treatment, we're going to work with our partners and do every effort to get them into treatment. So the phase one is an announcement. We'll move very quickly, as you see, into phase two around putting the enforcement. And so I want to be careful, and I had a great conversation with Commissioner Stanford earlier. All of this blends together. I know as part of what we wanted to do in our 100-day report was to outline you kind of our approach. But all of it links together. We don't just drop from phase one. Phase one doesn't exist anymore, we go right to phase two. Phase two doesn't exist anymore, we go right to phase three. They all work in continuum. They're all, at some point, all of those phases will be one. We will always be looking for a diversion and working to move people. We will always be announcing to them to give them an opportunity. We will always be doing enforcement there, but we will also, on the back end of phase 4 and 5, really working with our community partners to build the muscle and build the integrity of having them take that neighborhood, own that neighborhood, and it be theirs. And we move into a level of sustainability where we will work with them. You know, the Kensington Carter, the district, the team will be down there for a long time, always supporting that community in their work.
Mr. Snyder.
Commissioner, if I can ask the Deputy Commissioner, you've been put in charge of the Kensington Initiative. We just heard the Commissioner saying this is kind of unprecedented situation in the United States. How do you handle that? How are you looking at this challenge?
Collaboratively, right? It's important to understand that, as the Commissioner alluded to, we don't take this process lightly, and it has to be something that we have to seek input from our community partners. So we've been very purposeful in meeting, talking, listening to our community members there to receive their input and guide us into the strategy that we need to utilize.
And if I can, what are you really hearing from the community there?
That what's happening now can't continue, right? That we have to reset those norms. We really have to bring a sense of normalcy back to the Kensington community. Yeah.
Commissioner, what role will state and federal partners play?
So just so you know, we've been moving and Operation Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Benor and their teams have been working down in Kensington Carter already. We've been working with our federal partners, FBI, ATF, Homeland Security, DEA. All of our partners have been already working operationally down in there. Our Attorney General's office has been working, doing narcotics interdiction. I mean, one of the things we believe in part of our strategy has, as you see now, I've never once talked to you about focusing on those who have been addicted. My conversation to you today is about sending men and women to address the drug sales that we laid out in our 100-day plan to address, and has been asked by, those in the community to address the level of drugs and violence that are down that community. That is our core strategy as we go into that. And our federal partners, I've been at this for quite some time, and I can tell you they have been absolutely outstanding. I met with all of them. My team met with our federal partners to really lay out the challenge that we have in Kensington, and that we need you to focus your support down there. And all of them have done that. U.S. Attorney has pledged her support, and so we could not be more pleased with the support we're getting from our federal partners, both now and as we continue to operationalize over that. So as you see my young kids and my young, not all of them are young, but my recruits are going down there, there will be a lot of folks sitting on top of those young people, supporting them, both our federal partners. We are working with our district attorney's office. We're working with all of our partners to make sure that we're supporting them and supporting the team that Commissioner Rosario has assembled as we go into our operational stage.
And then some other communities have
That's fine.
expressed the concern about the whack-a-mole kind of aspect.
Listen, again, you know, I hear what they say, and I hear those concerns. So we will be able to pivot and address, you know, the conversation, whether you take down a drug corner here that's going to turn into violent episodes, to take over those corners. We understand that. Most of my team up here, we got a lot of experience. We got a lot of experience on the field. We'll know how to address those issues. We'll be able to pivot and be able to handle those effectively, both whether it be here and we see that other activity in other parts of the city as well.
Okay, our last question right here. Spoken with the district attorney about the charging decision, because I know there's been a posture of not charging certain crimes. Retail theft, prostitution, drugs.
We have worked with the district attorney. We are working on some of the issues. The team has worked with them as it relates to our retail theft and some of the other offenses. I control what I can control, and that is to move my men and women into this position and to do the work that we do. My expectation that not just the DA's office, but the entire system. Director Gear is working behind the scenes with our municipal partners and others so that we have some support from our courts. So it's not just about a district attorney's issue, it's a criminal justice issue, and how the system will reset to be able to effectively use what they have at their disposal to get individuals into treatment as well. But I do want to make sure we understand this and say this again. Yes, we are moving our men and women down into this area. This is not about us going down there and trying to arrest every individual down there. We are going down there, as Commissioner Rosario said, to reset the norms. We're going down there to make sure that everyone, that we bring safety back to the community and to address the trauma that many of our young kids and children and families have been dealing with. That is our goal. And through those footbeats, I expect them to build the support and build relationships in those communities while they're on foot so we can make this an effective strategy. And so I just appreciate all of you coming out, and we'll update you throughout this period as we get underway. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.